Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, are we audible? Am I audible?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So, welcome everybody for today's webinar. Uh, we started the series of webinar on the occasion of World Tourism Day. The theme was tourism and green investments. And that's how we decided that we will keep to the theme. We talk more about sustainability and responsibility. And since then, every of our seminar is about sustainability and about responsible tourism. So this initiative of this webinar was basically under the leadership of our Managing Director, Mt.Shraddha Joshi Sharma Madam. It is her initiative that actually we happened to start this series, and then it is like serving as a think tank for all of us, for the industry, for the government, for all stakeholders to stay connected. And the topic of today's webinar is sustainability in hospitality, present and way ahead. Our guest speaker for today is Ms.Sireesha Chandana. She is the Vice President, Learning and Development, Sustainability at the Indian Hotels Company Limited. Let me introduce to Chandana Madam shortly. She leads the Sustainability and CSR function for Indian Hotels Company Limited. She has a huge experience of 20 plus years in this field. Then she has a huge experience of working and dealing with the environmental concerns, including energy use, water conservation, reduction of pollution and waste, and initiatives towards nurturing biodiversity. Then she implements corporate social responsibility initiatives and manages the operations of Taj Public Service Welfare Trust too. So from Sireesha Chandana Madam, with her experience, we have the opportunity to learn a lot from her today. So we will move ahead with the webinar. Now I request our General Manager, Shri Chandrasekhar Jaiswal ji, to take ahead the webinar.
Thank you very much, Mansi. That's very kind of you. And hello, Sireesha ma'am, how are you?
Good to see you.
Yes, thank you. And under the leadership of our Honorable Managing Director, Srimati Shraddha Joshi Sharma ma'am, we are able to do this seminar series, and we are planning that it continues for a stretch. And a lot of people are getting interest into this, and a lot of people today also have registered to become speakers. That is something very amazing. So thank you, ma'am, because ISCL is a leader in sustainability. In fact, everything, the best practices in tourism, in environmental conservation, at hotels, in hospitality started with ISCL. I remember people like Patu Keshwani, people like, who is now leading Hotel Lemon Tree Group. When we were college goers, it was Taj who started zero waste management.
Yeah.
It is Taj who started ISCL Taj, who started with the linen reuse program and everything. They brought environmental consciousness to a lot of people. And thank you. We will be very much blessed that, the Maharashtra Tourism Development Corporation, with its senior regional managers, resort managers, the stakeholders. We have also the ex-chief engineer of ITDC, Mr. Anil Kumar Gupta, many people, Mr. Khatri. And there are so many people from abroad has also joined. Will, as and when it is possible, will introduce you to them. So ma'am, thank you very much. I would request our managing director now, we are just to join and just address this August gathering so that you can begin with. We're just trying to see if ma'am is available, because ma'am had to rush for a meeting immediately to a place in somewhere, and we are just looking in whether ma'am can join, and then we can start.
Sure.
Just, yeah, thank you very much. So I'm sure that the programs which have been done by ISCL before, especially the tower, the Taj Palace Hotel and towers, I still remember you had so many other things to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, so let's continue, ma'am. Sireesha, please.
Yeah.
All these people are waiting for you. Thank you very much.
No, the pleasure is all mine. I'm very, very happy to actually have got this opportunity to kind of uh, speak to everyone in MTDC. And I just want to say that it's a privilege and an honor to continuously keep engaging with people who are truly interested in this entire piece. Frankly speaking, we can do a lot of conversations, to do a lot of communication and education in a lot of with a lot of stakeholders. But I had the I'm picking up from 26th of last month when we met actually, and I had from close quarters, I had my interactions with Shraddha Joshi ji, Shekhar ji, as well as Mansi. And I love the idea that everybody is so passionately involved in this entire piece. And that's why there was no reason I would have said no to something like this, because like I said, when I see that there is genuine energy and enthusiasm going towards this particular effort, it makes me feel happy that I am going to be party to something which is nicer and larger and better.
Thank you.
So I'm going to kind of take the next maybe half an hour, 40 minutes to take you through some of the things that we are doing in the space of hospitality and hotels. This is just for you to get a little bit of a flavor of what kind of stuff really happens in hotels. And I'm very happy to kind of take any kind of feedback, any questions, answers, whichever way you'd like to kind of approach this entire piece. Yeah. So from an Indian hotels perspective per se, Pathya is the entire framework that we actually follow from a sustainability journey perspective. And what we are trying to say is that we branded this entire initiative as Pathya because we said Pathya, while there is the regulatory bodies and the framework actually ask for E, S, and G as a compliance. We are a 120-year-old company. We've been doing a lot of things from many, many years, even before they actually became regulation. So they were not mandated when Tata Group and IHC actually started doing a lot of things. So we believe that not only do we need to do what is mandatory and regulatory in nature, we need to do what is the right thing to do. And Pathya is that Sanskrit word which says to follow the right path. Yeah, so that's why the entire branding is the right path. And it is ESG++. Our managing director always says it is not just ESG. Don't limit yourselves to what the regulations asks for. We belong to the larger Tata Group family. So it should be about all the good that you do, which should actually form a part of this piece. Yeah. So this is the context to the entire thing. We are very, we drive it very, very clearly with all our, what we call, values which are important to us of trust, awareness, and joy. So Taj, trust, awareness, and joy are the core values that we use to actually drive this framework, which has got 6 pillars. And I will take you through some of the pillars in a lot more detail, and maybe some of them I'll not touch upon them as much. Yeah, but these 6 pillars have actually been, these are to do with heritage, corporate governance, social responsibility, environment stewardship, our partner transformation with our value chain, as well as progressing of sustainable growth. So under these 6 pillars, what we have done is that we did a very detailed materiality study, which included all our stakeholders, whether it was our investors, our partners, our employees, owners, our customers, as well as our stakeholders in the market. To be able to understand what is really important for us. And we looked at the industry context before we said that, you know, we are a 120-year-old brand. We hold a certain kind of a responsibility of how we want to shape the ESG agenda. And hence we put these 6 pillars. So I'll take you through the first one, which is actually very material to us. Not many organizations might have this as a focus, but because we are an organization which runs a lot of heritage properties and properties which speak about the heritage and legacy of our country and nation, one of our main pillars that we follow as a part of ESG is preserving heritage and brand. So while it is very synonymous with the Taj brand, which has been known for over a century, what we've done is that we've actually collaborated with, sorry, one second. So we have collaborated with UNESCO where what we have done is that we have tied up with UNESCO to say that while India has many, many tangible cultural heritage sites, there is a lot about India which is also very intangible. So it's about the culture that we have, which is very nuanced. It is the kind of dialects that we speak. It is the kind of traditions that we have, the history that we have in place, which have actually gotten passed on from generation to generation. These are not noted down anywhere, or these are not scripted, and hence they also run the risk of actually being lost in transition. And that's why UNESCO actually came up with the entire proposal of putting intangible cultural heritage in place. This is a program they run across the world. And in India, they have, I think, close to about 17 or so intangible cultural heritage identified. So we actually worked very closely with the entire UNESCO team in Delhi to see how is it that Indian hotels also has a great spread of hotels across geographies. So how can we, through our footprint across geographies, help create certain kind of visibility for these intangible cultural heritage that we have? So we work closely with them, and we've identified 10 currently where our hotels in these particular locations of Rajasthan, UP, a little bit of Bengal as well as Karnataka, all our hotels here actually do a promotion for these particular intangible cultural heritage. So how we operate is that the hotel doesn't make any money out of it. This is completely for the value chain to actually maximize the efforts. So if only thing we publish is a brochure which is available in our hotels, or it can be sent across on emails, and guests are actually encouraged to take these itineraries. It's a very well curated itinerary. So someone from a travel desk, a third party, actually kind of books the transport for the guests. They go to the village or to the community where these particular art forms or cultures are actually being practiced. We have a sign off from the community heads who say that they are perfectly fine with others coming to actually take a look at what this is all about. And once they go there, then they have different experiences, whether it is experience of cuisine, experience of seeing how the art form actually kind of plays out. And the entire beneficiary here is everyone in the value chain, except for us as hotels. So while we have 10 that we are actually working on, there are many others that we have identified also. One of the big intangible cultural heritage is also about the tribal cuisine. And we believe that hotels, nobody better than hotels to actually make sure that we are able to kind of do the best out of cuisine for the home cooks who are there all over the country. So you would be aware, or probably you could read up, there is a lot of work that Tata Steel Foundation actually does with tribals. So every year, in fact, this year also in November, right from 15th to 19th, for 4 days, they have a tribals conclave that happens. There are close to over 100 different tribes who get represented, and the entire city of Jamshedpur actually turns into a carnival. It's a very, very beautiful setup. It's like a mela in the center of the ground of Jamshedpur. And last time I went there were healers, there were handicrafts, there was music, there was cuisine, all the different stalls showcasing many of these particular aspects. So Tata Steel actually works with the tribal leaders, and what we did this time is that we said we will provide greater opportunity for these people, and we provide them professional inputs in our college in IHM Aurangabad to make sure that these people understand the difference between working as a home cook and in a professional kitchen, because the idea is that we want to prepare them from an entrepreneurship perspective, so that they're able to bring their cuisine to the table, where a customer can enjoy what is authentic and what is genuine to that particular area. So this is something that we've been working on with the Tata Steel Foundation, which has worked extremely well for us. So while there are 3 parts, which is the the intangible cultural heritage that we actually work with, there are some pieces which are focus areas for us as Indian hotels, which is also the physical structures. So the Ganga Ghats, in Varanasi, the Gateway of India in Mumbai, the precinct, not that particular area, the monument, but the precinct, as well as the National Railway Museum in New Delhi. These are three areas that we specifically focus on from the perspective of upkeep, maintenance, all of those particular pieces. Yeah. Then the second pillar that I'm going to talk to you about is promise social responsibility. And this is more of our CSR arm. And again, we have enough, enough work that happens here to be able to decide which are the material issues for us. Yeah. Having said that, one of the biggest thing that we have been working on is actually skilling, and we work on a lot of direct skilling with the community ourselves. So we partner with, we have multiple partners: Tata Strive, Head Held High, Art of Living, TCS, a lot of government collaborations, whether it is in Madhya Pradesh or whether it is in Assam. We work very closely to be able to actually start a lot of physical skilling centers. We have, this presentation says 16, but I know that we've already signed 2 more. So it is 18 centers that we already have in place now. This year, we are going to be skilling 8,000 youth. And this is very focused effort that we actually put in place, which is also, how should I say, it is supplemented by the volunteering efforts of all the people who actually work in our hotels. So skilling is our biggest effort in the community. We also have the Taj Public Service Welfare Trust, and one of the biggest three of the major objectives, if I may put it, of the trust. One is to actually take care of all the families who were affected by the terror attacks in Mumbai. The second is to support the armed forces. So we work very closely with the Queen Mary Technical Institute, which is based on the outskirts of Pune. And the third is to be able to help in times of disaster, whether it is natural or it is man-made. So disaster response is something that we work very closely with Tata Group, and whether it is whichever part of the country that it is in, we are very actively involved in terms of disaster response. Having said that, I've not put it down here, but we work very closely with the women self-help groups in Banaras, where we run training programs for the weavers from the minority communities and from the underserved communities, so that they continue to take up the profession of weaving Banarsi sarees. Because almost about 10 years back, this entire project started close to about maybe 15 years back, when we saw that the demand was going down, and we provide them with infrastructure support, to raw material support, to design templates. And many of you would have noticed in our hotels, the ladies wear, the uniform is a Banarsi sari, and the Banarsi saris are actually sourced from these ladies who actually are part of the self-help group. So that is a big community piece that we also work with. From an environment stewardship perspective, hotels by itself have a large impact on the footprint in the communities that we exist in, as well as the environment that we actually operate in. So we work very hard towards making sure that the energy that is consumed, the emissions that are there, how much water are we using, how much waste are we sending to landfill, that we are continuously working towards making sure that the impact is definitely reduced. Yeah, there is enough and more work that has happened, and I'd like to share a few initiatives that we have in place so that we are able to kind of quickly discuss it later if you would prefer. So number one is that because we are the industry leader in this particular space, we've taken the first step towards collaborating with IFC Tech Emerge. IFC Tech Emerge is the arm of the World Bank, which actually supports a lot of pilots of new technologies and innovations in the space of cooling. And when we say cooling, what sustainable cooling, when I say that, I mean, if you look at the P&L of any hotel business, our topmost cost is going to be workforce and payroll cost, and the second cost is going to be the HVAC cost, so heat, light, and power. And this is the cost that we are trying to kind of address, and also the negative impact of heating and cooling that happens in our hotels. That is what we are trying to address. So we work very closely with IFC Tech Emerge, and for the last 18 months, we actually ran 9 pilots across 6 hotels to be able to test virgin technologies. So something that innovators said is going to reduce the amount of emissions or the chemicals that go into the water or the air, or places where we leveraged different types of technologies of new materials to be able to test them. And we've had some absolutely fantastic results. And some of them we have shared with the Hotel Association of India for us to be able to kind of scale, so that the negative impact that we kind of create otherwise in running a hotel is kind of reduced. So this is one good thing that we have worked with. The second is obviously the work towards increasing the renewable energy quotient. Yeah. So while there is work happening around the RE, I think this is much, what do you call it, is, if I say it is something which is also very regulated. So in different states, there are different regulations. Having said that, I think Maharashtra has worked very well for us. And majority of our hotels in Maharashtra have more than about 70% of renewable energy, which is being used. But there are many, many hotels in the south where we have over 90% of renewable energy, which is actually used. We also do a lot of work around sustainability, around water efficiency. So we've got close to about I must say 40% of our hotels have gone through a water audit, so that we have an understanding of what the risks and gaps are. If it means we need to be changing and doing an overall of STPs and building in new technologies and metering everything, so that we have a clear understanding of what's happening in our hotel, that's the kind of work that is actually happening also. When it comes to waste, there are multiple aspects that we are actually addressing waste. One big thing is to do with plastic waste. And I think almost about 2 or 3 years back, the government had come up with a regulation of elimination of single-use plastic. And at the IHCL, we believe that we have to be ahead of the curve. So not only the mandatory list of what has actually been recommended in terms of a single-use plastic, we have gone ahead and we have eliminated more than that also. So there are many of our high impact large hotels where we have installed what you call glass water bottling plants to make sure that the consumption or the usage of plastic bottles actually reduces. We have, starting this year onwards, all Taj branded hotels and palaces have transitioned to biodegradable coverings for all the amenities which are in the bathroom. So usually you'll see the soap and the what do you call kits, etc., which will have some kind of a plastic wrapping. All of that has actually gone. We have on-site waste composters in more than 60% of our hotels already, so that we know that the waste actually going into the landfill is reduced. We have started and initiated a lot of circularity related projects also. And one of the big things, if you see in a hotel, is that a customer comes to stay there one night, and usually they use the soap in the bathroom for maybe once or twice, and otherwise the soap actually goes into waste. So we work very closely with Diversey to be able to make sure that we are able to kind of circulate the soap. We similarly have certain programs for circularity for linen, so that we are able to kind of continuously use it. And if not for our guest use, we are able to kind of at least put it into use in the community. Similarly, there are some more projects which are in the pipeline about how do you use coffee and wet waste and different pieces. When it comes to biodiversity, the presence of IHCL is there in a lot of coastal regulatory zones and, high biodiverse rich areas, especially actually some of our areas are in the forests. The coast is, yes, one piece, but I think it is far more easily manageable, but it is the forests and it is the highly biodiverse areas like the Andamans and the Lakshadweep, where we do majority of our work around biodiversity. So how do we enrich the flora, fauna, not just maintain it and have negative impact? impact, and how do we use that particular ecosystem of ours to do good quality work. There is much that actually happens there. To be able to make sure that we are not having, or we are having the right kind of impact on the environment, it's very important that we actually have a baseline understanding of what is really happening. And I would say that Indian hotels still starters in this area, because we started this entire program of benchmarking and certification hotels with EarthCheck, which is an Australia-based company, very early, sometime around in 2008. And currently I have written here 77, but a little over 80 hotels which are certified, actually 89 hotels which are certified, out of which close to about 60 of them are actually platinum certified. So what this system does is that year on year, it gives us an understanding of if the quality of operations is improving such that the adverse impact on the environment is decreasing. So having said that, one of the last things that I wanted to talk to you about in this particular segment was to do with Energize Green Meetings. Very soon this year, you'll notice that we will be launching green meetings, and that means the type of food will be very, very local. We have a concept of food miles. So within a radius of X number of miles is where the food will actually be sourced from. The cuisine will be from that particular place. The treatment to the furniture, to the chemicals, to the water, to the air conditioning, everything will be moderated in a manner that the impact that that particular conference or meeting is having on the environment is very controlled. So this is our key initiatives under environment stewardship. Like I mentioned, we have many hotels. Taj Mahal Bombay is actually 100% powered by green energy. And what we've done is that close to about 70% comes from our solar, from one of the plants that we have installed in interiors. And 30% extra is what we are actually picking up on premium. So there are many of our hotels which are actually working towards this. There are many hotels which are 90% green energy. And like I said, majority of them are in the south, because I think it's far more easier for us to be able to do something like that in the south hotels. One of the very visible initiatives, that's why I've kind of put it here, is actually how we have worked towards putting up a great infrastructure for EV charging stations. So across our hotels, over 120 properties have more than 310 charging points across geographies for us. So it's important that if the nation is moving towards creating that kind of, towards encouraging EVs, we need to support to be able to make sure that the right kind of infrastructure is actually being put in place. This is a slide that I was really talking to you about, Soap for Hope, which is to do with circularity. And what we've done, like I mentioned, is we've partnered with Diversity, which is a worldwide organization, to be able to kind of work with the used soaps, collect them, process them again, and make sure that these are again given back in the community. So not only does it take care of people in the community, it also works towards job creation. So this is one big one that we are working on. Some of the additional efforts, I'm just putting it down there just so that you get a flavor of what it is like. Like Taj Exotica Resort and Spa Andamans is the country's first ever zero single-use plastic hotel. So if you get an opportunity ever to be posted in Andamans, or if you ever happen to travel, this is a must-see hotel. Very, very beautiful, very high biodiverse area that it is actually located in, but extremely respectful of the environment that the hotel is in. Like I mentioned, all our packaging has moved to biodegradable packaging. So whether it is bamboo or whether it is cane, it is different kinds of natural products that we are actually using now. Water bottling plants, we have EV charging stations. Every year on Earth Day, Umaid Bhavan Palace, or one of the palaces of ours, all our hotels actually do a lights off 8:30 to 9:30 for 1 hour. There is a light off policy on Earth Day, and I'm sure many other places also must be doing it, but our hotels actually feature on the WWF worldwide site. Yeah, so it's a good stuff that happens. happens. This is about the energized green meetings that I mentioned. In terms of biodiversity, some good stuff that we have also done is that we work very closely with the hotels in Andaman, Maldives, Chia Kutir and Coorg, as well as the forests where we are located in, to be able to kind of support, whether it is mangrove plantations in Andamans. In Maldives, we do a lot of coral reef restoration. In Chia Kutir and Coorg, like I said, there are many initiatives to make sure not only the adverse impact, in fact, there is a positive impact on the flora fauna where we actually exist. In the forests of Madhya Pradesh, that is where our safaris are, we work with the tribal community, and we've done a lot of work with the parties there to be able to see how we can integrate them in the entire value chain in our business. So the parties there actually work very closely with our naturalists to be able to take them on forest, to be able to take our guests on the walk into the safari, in the interiors of the forests. We've done a good tie-up with WWF because we realize that these are not efforts that can be done by one organization, and we need to be able to make a larger pitch to more people for us to be able to create visibility. And WWF happens to be a great partner for us to actually do this kind of stuff. Having said that, while we have all of that happening, we also have a huge focus on how we work D&I, diversity, equity, inclusion in the organization. So we have a lot of programs that we actually run internally about how there are incentives to actually have women colleagues join on board. We have specific programs that we run, especially as apprenticeship only for women batches. That is our DIVA batch, which is Dynamic Intelligent Women in Action. We do a lot of initiatives for women, and it is already there in public domain about the kind of work that we actually do with women around our hotels. But we believe that it is the women in the community, and sometimes women from the underserved community, who have to be provided the right kind of opportunities for them to be able to make things happen. Very soon, we will also be launching a platform called Second Dat, where women who have had to take a break in their life cycle, whether it was because of marriage, whether it was because of children, or whether it was because their children were going through board exams, or one of the set of parents was not well, they can actually come back and do very flexible roles in our hotels. So some things which will help them manage their personal life as well as professional life. We are guided obviously by Mr. Chandrasekharan and his view of how we can make a difference. And he believed, and he believes very clearly that, CSR, environment, this is not something which is to be managed by people who run that department. This is not the responsibility of the sustainability team or the CSR team. This is something which has to be done by everybody in the organization. Hence, we have a huge focus on culture building in the organization, and one of the biggest things that we start with is volunteering. And across the organization, we have close to about last year we did 4 hours per employee per year, per capita volunteering hours, which was done, where our colleagues actually volunteer in the community. So it can be a range of activities. It can be something as simple as planting saplings, to it can be about cleaning a community somewhere in a distant community. It can be creating awareness. It can be knowledge building, skills building. It can be just speaking of hygiene. It can be helping waste management. So it's a plethora of initiatives that we have in place, but we believe that volunteering is, and senior leadership volunteering especially, sets the right kind of tonality and culture for the organization to, as a whole, participate in community related work and in sustainability related work. And it's not the prerogative of people who just run that function or department. So we do a lot of communication internally also in the organization. We have a lot of training programs. We have a lot of, sorry. Yeah, so we have a lot of magazines, etc., that we publish. We have a lot of competitions. We also have a lot of recognition that we work around. So we have a lot of awards which are actually given away for.
Ma'am, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Sorry.
आपल्यामधून कोणीतरी बोलतंय सबको म्यूट कर दो ना हमको बोलो.
I'll continue. Yeah. Am I audible? I think no. So there is a lot of recognition also that we do because we firmly believe that it is important for us to build the right culture inside. Instead of 10 people, 15 people, or 500 people, it should be 30,000 people who have to drive the agenda of CSR and sustainability. And if 30,000 people are going to be involved in even 4 hours a year to do something which is not for their good, but for the good of others in the community, it is going to help them build a certain kind of emotional quotient, which is going to make them feel a lot more gratitude than people in today's day and age feel. And we believe that this gratitude is extremely important for us to be successful as a business also. For the sustainability of the business, it's very important that people actually operate a particular way. So we've got a lot of recognition otherwise also that has been happening. I just thought I'll share this with you before I'm happy to kind of take questions and answers. Yes, so this was a short, quick snapshot. I didn't want to get into too much detailing. I think it was important for me to kind of provide a certain flavor of what this is all about. And I'm happy to take questions and or just have discussion also. That is also okay.
All right. Anybody has questions, please? Thank you, Sireesha ma'am. I mean, this was very power-packed and, you know, so many of ideas. And ISCL, really, we are blessed today that, you know, we got the leaders to talk today in the country as far as hospitality is concerned.
Thank you.
And may I request all our audience, especially our regional officers and our resort managers, other guests, our students, fellows, everybody, to ask in questions. If anybody has questions, please raise your hand, or you can start directly. Mr. Gupta, do you have any question? Thank you for joining today.
No, it's my pleasure. It's my opportunity that you have given to me.
Ma'am, Sireesha ma'am, let me introduce Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta is called as a sound and light show man of India. He just retired from ITDC and
nice to meet you.
Delhi, and he has created so many sound and light shows. He was chief engineer of ITDC. And we also have Mr. Atul Shah. Also, he has joined. Thank you very much, sir. And so many people around here. Thank you, sir. And any questions, please, from Mr. Gupta?
Yeah, it's not a question, rather it's a request. See, recently, only yesterday, I was at Agra, and I have been going to Agra for installation of a sound and light show, which is being taken up by UP Tourism. And since it is a World Bank funded project, so they want third-party inspection, for which I was there. Okay, so perchance, you know, I engaged one guide, and I have been engaging guide just for my knowledge and to see how they are reacting and how they are interacting with the tourists. So what I have found that the data which they provide, or the information they provide to the tourist, is not 100% correct. They talk about, see, this particular Agra Fort. I'm just quoting an example. There may be some examples like for other historical monuments also. I'm taking this, you know, since you have introduced me to the sound and light show, I want to say that sustainability is required in that field also. So what I found, the information which is provided by them is not correct, or it is not complete. So
no, I really appreciate the feedback. I think this kind of feedback is only going to help make things better.
So they were not talking. They were talking about that it was done by, you know, Babur. They were mentioning about Babur and Shah Jahan, Akbar, and everybody, but they were not talking about that it was Badalpur area first before it became Agra or something like that, and which I came to know because I'm involved in the complete sound and light show. So when the history was made again, we found that a lot of information is required to be provided to the tourists, and that should be the correct information. So I told him, भाई you tell me आपको आपने कभी ये इसके अलावा और कुछ हिस्ट्री है इसकी? वो उसको मालूम था, मैं जब मैं 4-5 बारी उसको मैंने पोक किया तो उसने मेरे को फिर बताया. He knew everything, but he was not telling it to the tourists. I don't know why. That is number one. And many of may not be knowing that Maharaj Shivaji was arrested there in Agra Fort. So that was not being told. That area is lying closed. The people are not taking to that area. I requested the curator there, भाई इसको खुलवाइए, तो कहते सब थोड़ा काम चल रहा है, उसके बाद हमारा प्लान है उसको खुलवाने का. So like that, many things are not being offered to the tourists, which are important for us to be to be brought to their knowledge.
We'll look into this, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. And Mr. Raj Patil has a question. Raj Patil is asking something. Okay, ma'am, I have a question to you.
Yes.
And this is something very interesting that you are doing with Diversity, the soap
Yeah.
for hope.
Yeah.
So, this is a big concern for us too, because, we give a lot of, caustic soaps to our guests, and, they use it maybe, in fact, I should say that, we MTDC also should say to them, this soap can be used for the next 15 days, right? And they can take it away. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, they leave it there, and we have to dump them somewhere in the garbage, or somewhere it goes into the dump, and unfortunately into the environment. And
Yeah.
detergents play a very
Correct.
impactful role. So ma'am, this Diversity soap for hope, could you tell us more about it? Do you melt
Yeah.
it? Do you melt it and make a solid, and then do?
So I'll tell you how this works. I can also share the connect with you for Diversity. Diversity people will be very happy to actually work with more extended lodges and hotels and all of that. Yeah.
And
So what
Diversity has written to us an email before 15
Oh, yeah?
days. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So in fact, they're pretty good at it. So Diversity, what they do is that they have 8 centers across the country. Yeah, so they have these centers in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Jaipur, Goa. So wherever there are high intensity of hotels, they have 8 centers. So whenever you have soap, which is 30 kgs of soap, which has been collected, you send it to that center. Yeah, so the hotel will just send it to the center. There is nothing more that the hotel needs to do. After that, Diversity actually works with an NGO called, I think, Doctors for Life or something like that. And these NGOs have a full setup where they repurpose the soap. So they will chemically change the composition of the soap, and they will repurpose that particular soap, create fresh soap, and then share this soap back in the community and make sure that children in the underserved community, or everyone in the underserved community is able to kind of maximize their time, maximize this particular offering. So the process is actually very easy. Yeah, Diversity takes charge of the entire process of job creation in the NGO where people are working towards repurposing this particular soap, and they also take care of making sure that this actually goes back into the community and is distributed in the community. If you connect with them, in fact, they were in my office just yesterday, because we are trying to see some other circularity related projects that we can do. So they are passionate as an organization. They'll be happy to kind of help.
I've got to say something.
Yes, of course.
Mr. Jaiswal, should I speak, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
I will really congratulate MTDC and you, especially Mr. Jaiswal, for bringing these experts in the field of hospitality. The way the madam has, given the details what Taj is doing, I think MTDC, since I was a director before, MTDC has got some of the best properties in Maharashtra. At least 2 or 3 places we should implement all what Taj is doing it. So this will be really giving encouragement and boost to our hotels of MTDC. I'm really very happy that you've opened up MTDC, that you have just not restricted yourself to the government working, but you have invited the experts in this field. And the madam has given some fantastic things we've come to know. that what Taj is doing, MTDC should do it in 2-3 properties at least to start with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shah sir. And we were honored to have you. Shah sir was our ex-director of MTDC once upon a time and MLA of Girgaon area of Mumbai. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. Very kind
Yeah.
of you. And we'll
Yeah,
follow the
yeah.
path. Thank you so much.
Anytime,
Yeah.
anytime.
Yes, sir. Another question, please.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
जोर से बात करो।
Good afternoon.
Hi.
नीचे रख दो, नीचे।
Ma'am, I would like to know that you have implemented so many responsible practices, sustainable practices in your hotels. And I would like to know about the guests' response on these activities, on these practices. How do they react?
Oh, I feel that in today's day and age, our customers are very aware. So I think the demographics is dramatically changing. The current generation and youth is very aware and concerned about what the future holds for them. So because they are so aware of what the future holds for them, I think our guests are very, very involved in all these practices. In fact, they are the ones who also drive creating awareness, and they ask questions. If you notice our AGMs today, it is no longer about just what the share price is all about, or how we are making profits. The questions are very much related to the kind of impact we are having on the community, the kind of impact we are having on environment stewardship. So like I said, I think maybe 20 years back, it was a different scenario. Today, when you see how our government has also taken up with this, I think the kind of targets we have set are more aspirational than what Europe has set. Yeah, the kind of BRSR disclosures that SEBI is actually asking for is not something that is done even internationally. So what we are doing is that even the government bodies have created the kind of environment where the awareness created is huge. And this is becoming a play where everybody is wanting to kind of be involved to be able to do what is the best thing to actually do. So I feel that we are in a good time today. That's the way to say. It's not like IHCL has done something special, but I feel that the time is right that, everybody is focused on something like this.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other question from anybody, please? Yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am, and all
Hi.
our participants. My name is Niharika. Am I audible to everyone?
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. So you mentioned about the women initiative of iDiva and how you are re-employing women in the workforce who have left due to some reason.
Yes.
So can you give more insights into that, and how are women responding to this who are coming back in the workforce? Is it
Sure.
for them?
Yeah. So, I spoke of only 2-3 things, but I'll give a little more detail. So one is that, one is hiring. We have a framework called HER. So one is hiring, H is for hiring, E is for engaging them, and R is to make sure that we retain them. Yeah. So we have different initiatives under HER. And under hiring, we have different programs. So like I mentioned, we have the Diva program. This is actually for anybody who's gone through the NAP and basic program that they have actually done. And we bring them into our hotels through an apprenticeship kind of a program where for 1 year, we provide them with the right kind of skills. Usually these are young girls from underserved communities. We open it out to everyone, but we want to make sure that girls from the underserved community actually get the opportunities where it is required. This program is being taken up extremely well. So every year we open about 15 to 18 hotels because our growth of opening the business is great. And in at least 50% of these hotels, we have one batch of only Diva. So there will be a batch of 30 girls who've joined in that hotel as a part of that particular program. So we've made that kind of mandatory. Now, again, under hiring, we've also started the second that. And like I said, you will see that the website, the career site will release soon on that front, where ladies who've taken that break, necessary break, are given the opportunity to return back to be able to do work in a little more flexible manner than a corporate would actually operate with. Having said that, we also incentivize hiring of women colleagues. So it is internally when our employees actually provide for leads, which are for other women, there is a certain incentive which is associated. And we also look at the way our pyramid is actually put together. We've realized that at a senior leadership level, we have women, but they are not in the ExCom. In the middle management, we see that there are lesser women, and at the lowest level, we have some women. So we have 3 levels of interventions also planned. So at the basic level, we have a lot of mentoring that happens internally. At the middle management level, we have a lot of women leadership development programs that happen. And then at the senior level, we have a sponsorship program that happens where we say everybody who's a VP upwards, they get someone who's an ExCom member who's supposed to create the visibility for the good work that these ladies are doing. Because sometimes it's also about showcasing the good work, providing them with the right kind of opportunities. So the way I look at it, I say that, women across different levels need different kind of nurturing to be able to kind of reach the goals that they would like to. And I always say it's about equity. Not about equality, it's a little bit about equity. So think of it like a 400 meters race. The person who's in lane 1 is the one who's right inside. The one who's in lane 8 is right in front. When they start the race, they start not together but at different levels. And the woman is like the one who's in lane 8, the one who has the disadvantage of taking the larger round. But that's why she starts right from the front also. So as an organization, you have to understand and accept that from a social conditioning perspective, women have not had the opportunities in the past. So we must give them that little bit of extra to be able to make sure that they are able to bring out their maximum potential. Yeah, so that's the general philosophy that we use to be able to work around the inclusion piece. Does it help?
Thank you. Parag. Anybody else has a question? कोणाकडे question आहे क्या? किसी के पास और question है काय आहे का विचारायचं आपण विचारू शकता. Ma'am, one gentleman has one of our staff, Mr. Amol Deshmukh, has written sustainable tourism happiness. So something he wants to say. So is quite a good statement from his side.
Yes, yes.
And Mansi,
I agree.
Yeah, you have anything to talk?
Ma'am, the state of Maharashtra, like we have come up with our gender in tourism policy called I. So in this, we are encouraging like women empowerment through tourism, and MTDC is also coming up with all by women, resorts and restaurants, wherein especially our city resorts, we are trying to introduce it like as all the service providers would be women. So while doing this, somewhere like we are facing difficulty in getting women employees. It's difficult because especially when it comes to like rural areas, also women, they don't really opt for it. There is like some sensitization or something that is really required in the society, because women, even if there are jobs available, the women really don't opt for that. So how do you address it from IFCL?
It's a very good question, and a very, very valid concern. Whether you are a corporate or whether you are in the community, this is the reality. Yeah, there is a lot of, and like we are one of the oldest civilizations. We have been there for so long, and we have had a kind of a social conditioning, which is not going to be just because we have started an initiative, somebody will be able to kind of get over it. So yes, sensitization is a very big piece that we actually work with. So for us, sensitization happens out of building culture of allyship. So we believe that when our senior most leaders are going to be sponsoring women, they are going to be acting as role models. Sabse pehle, I have seen that, in the society that we work in, what the boss does is what everybody will do. So if the boss doesn't operate in the right kind of behaviors, nobody else will. They might not necessarily agree, but if they see that, leadership feels that, we must operate this way, everybody else also tends to fall in line. That is number one. Number two, I have seen, like, we also have hotels everywhere, right? From Rajasthan to maybe Bangalore. And Bangalore might be far more evolved and sensitive as a community where, you know, women do not feel threatened, or women feel like they have opportunities, or women feel a sense of equality or equity. But maybe Rajasthan is very different. You know, it's a place where you have always had Rajputs, and, you know, there's a particular way that everybody operates. So idea is that we continuously have a lot of programs to sensitize our people in the hotels about how we need to create the right kind of environment, and we explain the concept of equity to people so that they are not judgmental about the gender of people, but they treat each other as colleagues who bring certain kind of value to the table. And like I said, it's not easy. We do online sessions, we do classroom sessions. This year, in fact, we have employed a theater group. So the theater group travels to our hotels, and every theater has 100 people as audience, where they do a lot of theater to showcase the perspectives of male, female, and others in the place of work and how it is perceived. Because many times I don't think the gentlemen who work in the hotels realize the impact of what they are saying or doing. It's not their fault. They were also raised like that only. Yeah. Once I went to one of our hotels and I was doing a talk, and all these ladies were there. There were some gentlemen also in the room, and the ladies were saying, "Ma'am, ye hona chahiye, aisa hona chahiye, raat mein." And this was in Delhi, heartland of what do you call this entire domination. And there was a young boy who stood up in the class and he said, "Ki ma'am, ये जो ladies आपको ये सब बता रही है ना, इनको पूछो ये अपने घर पे क्या करती हैं, या इनको पूछो ये अपने घर पे क्या करती हैं, अपने लड़कों को शिक्षित करती हैं और लड़कियों को संस्कारी बनाती हैं." See, what he said was superb. Yeah, because see, we can speak a language in the corporate, we can speak a language at work, but the reality is, what do we do at home? See, this is not going to change in 1 year or 2 years. It will take us a generation. But that means that we have to start right from our homes. We have to start with our children. And we are doing that with our girls. We are educating them. But it's important that we teach our boys how to respect girls. Very few people teach the boys how to cook. Very few people teach the boys that you also have to wash the utensils sometimes. So I think women have a responsibility, not just at work to create the, what we call, environment. They have a larger responsibility at home also. Yeah. So ये इतनी जल्दी नहीं जाएगा. आपने जो बोला सही बोला, easy नहीं है, but we have to create an environment. You have to work hard towards doing that. Yeah. So it will take time. हमारा भी वो जो percentage of women 1% से बढ़ता है हर साल, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं बढ़ता है. So it takes a lot of effort.
Because we are also facing this difficulty, and it's a like huge transition that has to happen and requires like tremendous efforts. And basically, I think somewhere we need to teach our women only to take this responsibility in the society, you know, in their daily living in the house.
Yeah.
So that is where they need to start, and that is the place, the core place where this transition can actually happen.
You're right. You know, we have to help them build their confidence. If they help build confidence, no, then they will automatically blossom to do many other things. It's not just about काम पे आओ और ये काम करके जाओ, हम आपके लिए will make a good environment for you at work. That is a very small part of their lives. We have to help them gain confidence. So what you do in the community is as important as what you do at work. So in the community, if you're going to help them build confidence, you're going to put them in the limelight, you're going to appreciate, applaud the work that women are doing. If you're going to showcase women on your posters, it's going to make a difference. So, you know, it is all about perception, no? Matlab ki, TV and internet have done a great job. Yeah. But I think we should use these resources to be able to create that environment outside of work also. That's my view.
And ma'am, thank you very much. You know, our managing director, Shraddha Joshi, ma'am. In fact, you both can, you know, in fact, you are talking the same words and same language as she does. And in one of the conventions of Adventure Tour Operators Association of India, there was somebody who asked a question about this, the same verbatim, almost very close to it, that हम लड़कों को शिक्षित बनाते हैं और लड़कियों को संस्कारी. So same kind, ma'am was asked one question. So she said that girl has been told since childhood, ये तेरा काम नहीं है, ये तेरा काम नहीं है, ये तेरा काम नहीं. And with that beating and that hammering, things have happened. And we will change the scenario at MTDC. We have a I initiative, Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav initiative, an I initiative, a gender in tourism policy, which Honorable MD Madam Mansi, Niharika and Purvi are working on. I am also involved into it. Ma'am, you'd be surprised to know that, most of this people who are on Zoom right now. So there are colleges where, 10, 15, 20 people are sitting. You can see on the screens.
Wow.
So we have, I think IHM Solapur has also joined today. Have you joined IHM Solapur?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are there.
Oh, okay. Let me introduce you. This is a wonderful gentleman, ma'am. And Sandeep, we should invite Ms.Sireesha ma'am to IHM again.
Right.
We used to, I used to look after IHM for a long time, and ISCL was also involved into this. This is Government of Maharashtra's own ISCL, own IHM at Solapur. So this is IHM Solapur, and you can see the students and the principal. So they have also joined. We have Jain College, we have joined. We have college, HR College is joined. So don't look at the figure of 72 people. So very nice. And Sandeep, Dr. Sandeep, do you have any question for them, or your students have anything? Please let them know.
It's nice to join your session, madam. Although we joined a little late today, by 10 I got the message from sir, Mr. Jaiswal. So I was traveling from Pune to Solapur. So suddenly I just tried to, we have a meeting online, and it's the topic is which is very close to my heart. I have written a book on responsible tourism also. So we have to be more responsible towards entire sustainability, because it's not just a buzzing word now. And awareness and awakening, these two important factors is there, right from hospitality education and the training we need to give. We should thank Mr. Jaiswal and his team that MTDC is really taking this step ahead.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Dr. Sandeep, this is an initiative from our Honorable MD MTDC, Shraddha Joshi Sharma ma'am, and she met Sireesha ma'am at Indian Merchant Chamber where she was doing. So we agreed upon calling ma'am, and she, it's very difficult to call Tata Enterprise to a public program, but thank you for that. Sandeep, thank you very much. IHM, thank you very much. May I request now Mansi to propose the vote of thanks? Thank you so much.
Yes, Sireesha Chandana madam, thank you so much. Today's session, I would say it was like an eye opener.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you very much.
There's actually a lot to learn from you. Like all the stakeholders, all our regional managers, resort managers, like I would request to try and start implementing such sustainable practices at our resorts. And ma'am, we would like to seek your guidance, because we have 30 resorts pan Maharashtra, and MTDC is also getting into this initiative of responsible tourism in a big way. We have come up with our own logo for responsible tourism.
Nice.
We have come up with our responsible traveler program, which would be to educate our guests to follow the responsible practices. And there are several other initiatives like this gender in tourism. Then also we are into making tourism accessible for specially abled. So we get them into the tourism supply chain, get them. So that is the area we are trying to work on.
And nobody thought about microplastics blogging.
Yeah.
It is not even on Google. And
Correct.
We started that under the leadership of Honorable Jayashree Bhoj Madam last year, and continued by Honorable Shraddha Joshi Madam this year.
Nice.
And we did this twice now, and we want ISCL also to get involved and let it be a patent to MTDC now.
No, I'm telling you, I feel so happy to see that everybody is so genuinely involved in this. And I think that is the first best step that we could have. Because, you know, if it comes as a regulation, no, you will do something for a tick in the box activity. Here I see that everybody is involved and interested and wanting to make a difference. I think this journey will be a very successful one for MTDC, and it will be a fast one. I'm very confident of that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for your valuable time and making it yourself available for all of us today. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would
Thank you.
I would like to thank first of all our managing director for her initiative. Because of her, all this is happening today. Then our general manager, Shri Chandrasekhar Jaiswal. It's he who has been the man behind all this as well. Then all our regional managers, resort managers, all stakeholders, the colleges. Thank you everybody for attending today's session. Thank you for your participation. Thank you.
All the fellows, and the biggest connect is Mansi. Without
Yeah,
her,
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you,
Thank you
Mansi.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank you all the
Thank
fellows,
you.
ma'am. Ma'am,
Have
you
a
see
good day.
our fellows have been doing very good work, and I
Yeah.
will request MD madam one day to send all the fellows to ISCL to have
Absolutely.
a fam tour kind of stuff.
Absolutely. We'll be
Thank you very
happy.